Good evening and welcome to another episode of Business PNG for the year 2015. The country is gearing up for the Pacific Games later this year, with infrastructure being built and modernized during these last 4 years. But the major facelift to the city comes from Hawkins' constructed Kookaburra Flyover. As many of you may remember, Business PNG visited the site last year to report on the progress. This time around, we revisit once again to get an update on the progress and dates for the opening.
In the last couple of months, Erima has been given a rapid facelift, with the 161 million kina Kookaburra Flyover project making its way through the once densely populated suburbs of Erima. With traffic diversions and endless lines of cars commuting their way up to 9 Mile and coming back into the main city, the sacrifice has been very real for Port Moresby residents. Thankfully, the sacrifice will be soon over, with the flyover bridge scheduled to be opened in late May. Business PNG had a chat with the Hawkins PNG country manager, Seth Pardo.
On paper we're working towards the end of June, but with the weather being so kind and the program and methodology advancements that we've had during the project, we consider that we can bring that forward to roughly the end of May, early June. And again, if the weather's even kinder and we get a good run, we could even bring that date back a little bit further.
Hawkins have been working around the clock to complete the final stages of the flyover, with only street lights, the asphalt and white line painting to be completed. Pardo has said that the constructions have been running smoothly and the weather has been kind to them so far. And hopefully it will continue to be kind so that the final stages are completed for the public to use before the Pacific Games begin in Port Moresby this July.
So from a flyover perspective, we've almost complete the flyover, elevated flyover, so much of the work has been already completed. We've only got street lights, asphalt and white lines or painted lines to be done. And then with the balance of roadworks, we're probably 80 to 85% complete on that. And so the sections of road, we've sort of split it up into 3 different areas. Excluding the flyover itself, so from Sujongai's Drive through to Makani Crescent. That'll be handed over before the end of this week to NCDC. So we've just got to put street lights and white lines in that section, and then we'll be working on the section from Makani Drive to the western end of the flyover over the next 4 to 6 weeks. And then during that period we'll also be finishing the section between the head of the flyover, which is at the eastern end beside the airport, to the airport roundabout, including tie-ins.
Out of 940 staff, 360 are Papua New Guineans.
Total number of people employed on the project has been 940, so that means 940 people have been inducted through the health and safety protocols and processes. Out of that 900, there's been approximately 400 employed full-time for the respective sections of work or periods of time. Of that 400, 360 are nationals. And they've been working for a minimum 3 to 6 months full-time on the project.
Samantha Tamara, a project quality assurance engineer with Hawkins, told Business PNG that the benefits of working with a New Zealand-owned construction company ranges further than any other construction job.
The benefits with working with Hawkins, I think, is firstly their work ethic. They encourage us to be faster, work smarter, and they lift up our standards of how we deal with things at work. They also encourage us to be proactive and independent, which I think is really good for nationals. They encourage us to be more outgoing and do things and not be the ones just listening, which I find has been a really good learning experience for myself. Another important thing is working with an international company. Specifically with this project, there's people from all over the world, so we get to interact with all these different cultures and learn how to work with different people, not only with different cultures but different attitudes, personalities, and we make it work.
Apart from employment, Hawkins have also given out contracts to small locally owned contractors to help get the job done and also to keep the kina on Papua New Guinean soil.
We've worked with a big number of local contractors and also people directly employed by us, different skill sets, learning different skill sets. But the way we operate is we try and keep as much money on Papua New Guinea soil as possible.
All in all, what does this mean for the Papua New Guinean economy? Thankfully, with Hawkins sharing the load of the construction by giving smaller contracts to Papua New Guinean-based contractors, a fair share of the 161 million kina will remain in the country. In addition to employing locals, though not full-time, will allow local residents in Irma to receive vital skills and knowledge contributing to the rapid infrastructure development of Port Moresby, thus fulfilling Papua New Guinea's first national goal in Vision 2050, integral human development. With the flyover nearing the end of its completion, one of the outstanding features of the Kookaburra Flyover is the distinct carving on the outer edges designed by well-known local artist Daniel Waswas. Pardo explained that the artist wanted to create a design that represented the 4 regions of Papua New Guinea coming together to work as one to build the nation. The flyover is scheduled to be opened in late May by the Prime Minister Peter O'Neill. The public will be given the opportunity to walk over the flyover before it opens for vehicles to commute from the airport to St. John Guy's in only 2 minutes.
Coming up on the show, the recently opened Paradise International Hospital in Port Moresby, providing hopefully affordable healthcare through a public-private partnership. Boasting state-of-the-art, world-class facilities, the new Paradise International Hospital in Port Moresby's 3 Mile Hill is a long-awaited godsend for patients seeking health services. Gone are the days when Papua New Guineans would travel overseas seeking treatment due to facilities unavailable in PNG. But how affordable will the world-class services be for average Papua New Guineans already scraping the barrel for our current health services? Earlier last month, Paradise International Hospital opened up a new facility at 3 Mile Hill in the nation's capital, Port Moresby. The opening was attended by prolific guests, including Prime Minister Peter O'Neill, Health Minister Michael Malabag, Minister for Public Enterprises and State Investments Ben Micah, and members of the Diplomatic Corps. The new hospital boasts PNG's first catheterization lab and MRI scanner, as well as a heart surgery available 365 days a year, to name a few.
So the new features here are that our bed strength has increased from 24 beds to almost 70 beds here. The facility can go up to 120 beds in the future. Our operating theatre has gone from 1 to 4 operating theatres, and the operating suite has a state-of-the-art cardiac theatre where you can do open heart surgery, and you have another theatre where you can do advanced neurosurgery with microscopic neurosurgery and use spinal implants, etc. Then we have advanced orthopedic theatre, as well as a laparoscopic theatre where you can do minimal invasive surgery, which means keyhole surgery. So instead of opening up the belly to do something, you're making multiple small holes and putting telescopes, and as the surgeon is operating with his hands inside the belly, he or she is actually looking at the screen to see what they are doing inside the belly. This will be available to look into the joint space, arthroscopy, to look up the sinuses, what is called sinus endoscopy, and we will also have another theatre for general and gynecological surgeries. We also have an endoscopy suite, so we can do what we call gastroscopy, which is upper GI, and colonoscopy in a separate endoscopy suite, which will have a daycare admitting facility. We will also be able to do for the first time retina surgery in the country, what's called vitreoretinal surgery. So we have specialists who are now in place and operating theatres which are now equipped to be able to offer these services for the first time in PNG.
This means life-saving operations that in the past would mean patients flying overseas to seek treatment can now be done in the country, saving Papua New Guineans thousands of kina. The new establishment is a result of a public-private partnership between Paradise International Hospital and the PNG government. The government, determined to strengthen ties with the private sector to alleviate operation costs as well as subsidize medical fees for Papua New Guineans, have teamed up with the private health provider to help eradicate prevalent health issues in the country.
So the government, through IPBC, put out a non-prescriptive tender for interested parties who wanted to commission this hospital to put their bids. And PIH won that tender. It was quite due diligence done through Deloitte, and we won the tender to commission the hospital. Basically what that meant was to fulfill the mandate that IPBC had given, was to renovate the facilities, bring it back up to international standard, equip the facilities, bring the human resources required to deliver those new services, and basically to bring services which were currently unavailable in Papua New Guinea, for which people were having to fly out, and a lot of people who cannot afford to access overseas healthcare simply had no choice in the country. So the mandate was to do that, and as I've just described earlier, the new services, especially cardiac and neurosurgery, because that is not available even in our tertiary care hospital in the public system, will be a much welcome news to the people of Papua New Guinea.
At the launch last month, Prime Minister Peter O'Neill assured the PIH executive team that the government will partner with them through government agencies like the Independent Public Business Corporation or directly through the Department of Public Enterprise and State Investment in many of the programs the hospital will provide. This would include subsidizing some of the cardiac operations and other specialist services provided to Papua New Guineans. Business PNG took an exclusive tour of the newly established facilities. The hospital's executive team echoed previous statements that the hospital is a first in many medical services. But how affordable will these world-class facilities and services be for average Papua New Guineans? PIH Chief Executive Officer Dr. Amina Sultan had this to say about the issue.
I don't know about average Papua New Guinean affording some of the very advanced services. As you said, private healthcare is costly all over the world because it does involve a lot of expenditure in technology and human resources. But what I can tell you is that more Papua New Guineans than have previously been able to afford these services, and only overseas, will now have access and a more affordable service available at home. Let me give you an example. A heart angiogram to see if you have a blockage in your heart and to decide whether you're going to need an open heart surgery or if this can be fixed with angioplasty is now available at PIH for 10,000 kina. Now, people have been going overseas and spending in the tune of 25,000 kina plus, depending on where they go, to Australia or Singapore or Philippines. So Average Papua New Guinean is going to require a government subsidy to make this service possible for them. And this is where the true public-private partnership initiative will come to fruition when the Department of Health or the government through other means provides that subsidy to make it possible for us to provide this service to public referred patients until these services are established in the tertiary care public hospitals in PNG.
Welcome back. You're watching Business PNG. Air Niugini Madang is the Category A On-Time Performance Award winner. Madang maintained the lead in all 4 quarters of 2014 that made them become the sole owners of this shield. We once again joined Business PNG correspondent Fabian Hakalitz as he covers Air Niugini Madang's success story.
Madang, Pearl of the Pacific, tourism destination province and home to many tertiary institutions in Papua New Guinea, proved it once again, scooping the Category A On-Time Performance Award. Air Niugini Madang, a Level A airport facility in the country, apart from Lae, Mount Hagen and Rabaul, was given the recognition for its great teamwork. A small but significant ceremony witnessed by Air Niugini's Chief Executive Officer Simon Fu and other senior executives, departmental heads, airport and port managers. Air Niugini Madang scooped the Category A On-Time Performance Award that was presented by Port Moresby, Chamber of Commerce and Industry Executive Director David Conn. In the other categories B, WeWork, C, Tari, and D, Mandy, while in Port Moresby, it was Team 3. Mandy also scooped the overall Chief Executive Officer prestigious award for maintaining 100% in 2014. Customer service is Air Niugini's key business game, a strategy that aims to drive key requirements of customer focus, change and cost. Ports were congratulated for their hard work and performance.
We will work very hard to make sure that our aeroplanes leave on time, so we satisfy and deliver what our customer expects of us. And we do that within the safety limits that has been imposed onto us by the regulator, who oversights everything that we do in delivering airline services in Papua New Guinea.
Air Niugini General Manager Ground Operations and Security Aviation Marco McConnell thanked the team for their consistency. The on-time performance is a quarterly award for all domestic ports, and staff are urged to improve performance this year.
It was initiated some time back. The CEO of Air Niugini, Mr. Simon Fu, was adamant that we needed to improve on-time performance. The team was put together. By mid-2013, a plan was developed. By 2014, the on-time performance competition began. We are now into 2015. We would like to award the winners for 2014. Well done to the team. This is an ongoing competition. So well done to the winners of 2014, and we look forward to the winners of 2015.
Safety regulator CASA PNG praised the national airline for setting precedents and maintaining good records. The implementation of this strategic objective is to increase efficiency, safety and security, building blocks to improve performance.
Strategies being implemented, because as we look for the 2015 games and the 2018 APEC meeting, these are the things that help establish us, raise our standards, because we're not talking here about a domestic strategy, we're talking about international perceptions. So congratulations, Mr. Fu, and you and your team for implementing these strategies of on-time performance and precision timing schedules.
In an interview with Enyugini Medang Port Manager Wewe P, it's a big challenge in such a busy province, but it's about planning and management. The onus is on leadership.
So that's under the leadership of Mr. Hendrik Sanat, who is the airport manager, has been leading this team through with a guide of myself. We ensure that we maintain teamwork at the airport to ensure turnaround times must be below the maximum turnaround time, which is half an hour or 30 minutes. So we make sure the flight leaves before the turnaround time. And with the team that we have a very good team that has been working very hard towards that. We've got the first, we've got the seal for 2014, and likewise we would like to maintain same in 2015.
Enyugini Medang Port Manager Hendrik Sanat thanked the staff for their effort and contribution. Medang will continue to maintain the on-time performance.
You achieve anything, and also if you have a good team around you, then you will achieve what you want to achieve. Especially for Medang, especially my airport boys, they are committed to their work.
Enyugini Medang staff acknowledged the Chief Executive Officer Simon Fu for initiating such awards that encourages staff to perform their duties under the airline strategies.
I'm instructing people working, but people must arrange. Now people must genuine. When I'm instructing them working, I'm talking people working, people must working according to plan and thinking like one. And so people can achieve this goal when people are looking forward to life.
The on-time performance is an initiative of Enyugini's Chief Executive Officer Simon Fu to improve the national flag carriers' customer service and motivate staff in the call of duties within the company.
Team Medang! Team Medang! Team Medang! Thank you.
And that's all we have for you tonight. For more business news, if you would simply like to view this episode again, visit MTV online at www.mtv.com.pg/business. Or to join the conversation, like our page on Facebook for daily business news, or follow us on Twitter at Business PNG using the hashtag Business PNG. Until next week, have a pleasant evening. I'm Leanne Durari, and this is Business PNG.